Welcome, Miles Dutton. Welcome to everybody to another day of the streaming. I'm gonna take a look at the 60 pieces of flair, 60 pieces of DLC that SDS so graciously bestowed upon us. I'm going to talk about it. I'm going to go into detail about it. I know it from memory, from pictorial memory, if you must. You spend almost 3 decades in college, or shall I say school, you tend to learn a thing or two about a thing or two. So let's drop it. So I made a video earlier about the quote-unquote 60 props that are in this game, and I don't know if anybody else can do it. I think maybe Phil 44, Sue 21. I know they're probably going to go over it. They'll probably do a way better job than I will. I am stuck, as in trying to figure out what is the 60 pieces of just what the 60 pieces are. I have no clue what the 60 piece thing is, because to me, I didn't count 60 props. But nevertheless, here's what to go into detail about in regards to this. So there is a kit called Turn of the Century. I'm gonna get out of this. I'm gonna exit out of this real quick. I'm gonna have to redo some stuff. Probably going to have to talk over this because this is probably copyrighted music, and copyrighted music gets picked up pretty quick on YouTube, and YouTube always strikes stuff down with all the dabble 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 do dabble 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 do dabble do dabble do dabble 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 do. Okay, so this is painstakingly all the stuff that they have said to have dropped today. So we're going to go over this. I don't know if they changed foul poles or anything like that. So the foul poles are the same. The bricks are the same. Field is the same. The diamond is the same. Dugout is the same. You can't edit anything past the foul lines. They added more batter's eyes. So there's that. Weathered wood is one, and classic 3 flag is another. So I don't know what that's about. It doesn't make any sense to make flags that are stationary and don't wave. That is weird. So there you go with that. So I have gone through everything. First things first, what you get here is you get a full-on racehorse track. My Baltimore people, my people of the DMV, Laurel Racing Track, Pimlico Racing Track. Pick whichever one you want to. Me personally, this kind of reminds me of Pimlico because Preakness is my jam, and that's pretty much it. So you get a full, big race track. This is a turn of the century. Turn of the century generally means the ending of the mid to late 1800s and early 1900s. Okay, so 1880s to about the 1900s. Okay. Good luck down there. It's a hellhole. So right here, you are going to see this full racetrack in all of its glory. I like it. It definitely reminds me of Pimlico. So if you want to do something with that, you can definitely do that. Speaking about that, what they included in this was man's best friend, dog's best friend, God's best friend. What's this? Dog, D-O-double-G. Look at that. He a good boy. That's a good boy right there. See that good boy? He's even a good boy digitally. Digitally, a good boy. Bless you there, doggy. Okay, so moving on past that, you get this cart of fruit. So we're on to 3. I don't know if I can't count, but we're going to go through this again. So you got doggy there, you got fruit cart, you got steam engine vehicle, you got your Model T, I think. All right, you got a tree. So if you're keeping track here, we got 4. All right, you got 1 new light, and you got something that I honestly have been waiting for, because I tried to attempt to do an equestrian ballpark. You got the horses, which they finally done. Your Black Stallion, your White Beauty, and your Red Dead Redemption favorite default horse you got right there. All right, so that's where we're at in regards to that. So that's pretty much it. So we're at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 if you count that in the back. 11 is this big building. DC, Maryland, Virginia. So you have this factory right here. This is, what is it, Rosen and Lloyd, whatever. So you got this factory. You have this estate. It's another one, another estate. Some normal buildings. I mean, I'll give them that. Some normal buildings, some factory buildings. Then you got one of the big ones right here, which is your dock. Kind of like your, if you guys are quite fond of the Inner Harbor here on the East Coast, this is like your Fells. This is like your Fells Point, your Canton, type of buildings. So you got your industrial, you got your good doggy that's been added right here. There you go. That good doggy. That all good doggy. Then you move on from that, and then you go over to they added a barrels. So there you go. I think this is a chapel or a church. It's kind of interesting because I think they use the I feel like almost every part of America, if it was around, went through the Industrial Revolution. So that's pretty much these types of buildings. Nowadays, they get repurposed for apartments and overrated, overly expensive, hipster style restaurants. So we move on from this church to right here, which I kind of like. This is a all-together shopping mart, old school block type of store thing, which I could get used to. My only gripe with this is I wish they would have added more, like they did with the neighborhood row homes. You get another corner store block thing. This is something I'm going to be adding to the Camden Yards thing because this is as close as it gets to Pratt Street's classical building. So you get a lot of good classical buildings in this. Again, I can't count the 60 on this. I don't know what they added to be 60, but they did add some pretty good buildings, some good governmental buildings, such as this right here. You have another one right here. How many cities have this? Next thing they did was they added these concrete slabs, which I suppose hopefully doesn't take up too much memory. But you have 3 types of concrete slabs. You have 1 bridge. Yeah, looks like a great White House. Yeah. So you have that. You have a theater, classical. It's about late 1800s, early 1900s style of theater. Greek Ionic pillars and ovals and arches. One thing they did add that's nice, they finally added a decent train track to the game. So that's pretty good. That'd be good for Yankee Stadium if you're doing classical Yankee Stadium. If you want to do it in the ground like this, you can do that for your rail carts. Once I go through all this stuff, I'm going to go through my pluses, my negatives, what I feel about it, all this type of stuff. So you got a good cart here. Definitely something to add to a horse. I'm going to be doing old Oriole Park. I'm definitely going to be doing some 1800 style ballparks. So I'll be seeing what's going on there. Got another house here. Kind of like your Victorian era, pre-industrial, somewhat industrial revolution era. You have horse trolley. So are those sleds? Let's see what this is. Yeah, that's weird. Nevertheless, it's nice to have something classic. So if you finally get trains that's not part of the Astros thing. Finally get some pre-made steps. Finally, thank goodness. That could really come in handy. That's a lot better than blowing about, I don't know, what, 50% of memory on that. Old style bank. Tugboat. What you got here? Got a trash can. Old school trash can. Good old tugboat. Got some throwaway docks. You got some boxes here. And you have a part of the train. You got a rail cart right here. You got a big old library. We grow and learn. And let's see here. You go from that. You got a couple old school style homes. This right here I like. This is your construction stuff you can use for a stadium you're building, probably between the years of, I don't know. There's some construction stuff in the 50s. If you look at 50s photos, that looks like this. They finally added power lines to these cables. You got your Lincoln Logs, newsstand. What is this? Roasted peanuts. Got your old school roasted peanut signs and stuff like that. Service station. Finally, you'll be adding to that. You got a, I feel like from Old Ellicott City type of watch. And you got your popcorn. And then that's pretty much about it. Here's my thoughts. This is what you call a turd sandwich. Okay? What's that they say? When you give a compliment, you give a turd sandwich. It's like good compliment, bad improvement, what you need to improve on, all that stuff. So here's a turd sandwich. All right? The good thing is this. I don't know if this is 60. It comes off as 60. But this is by far one of the biggest expansions that they've added to this, probably since MLB The Show 22, when they unloaded a whole boatload of stuff that nobody had ever seen before, but everyone welcomed. That's one thing that's positive. Here's another thing that I find kind of iffy about all of this. This is about the second or third patch that basically unloads a lot of props and stuff to the show. My issue is that these props that are unloaded into the show only supplement a few things. They supplement a few things. They make a few things better. They make a few things good. But ultimately, it's kind of like when you're on the toilet and you're done doing number 2, Spider-Man Dos Amigo, and you're reaching for the toilet paper roll and you only got one thin sheet left. This stuff is amazing. It's highly detailed, great research, all that type of stuff. But the problem in here is it's just one sheet roll. I still got to wipe my butt and get up off the toilet and do what I got to do. That's the problem with the content that is released in this game. That's the best way I can put it. And I'm sorry for coming off as derogatory, if you must. But that is the best way to describe this. This content is amazing. There's a lot of great stadium builders and stuff that are going to take advantage of this. You're one talking right now and make the most out of it. But at the end of the day, what good is it to make all this classical stuff and to make all these classical turn of the century normal style buildings and you don't improve the lights? This right here still does not turn on when you turn the lights out. So this right here was uploaded for the Rickwood Field thing. Let's turn out the lights. All the other lights work in every single DL except for the lights that should be working. These lights don't turn on. We're now 2 patches without that working. What good is it to upload turn-of-the-century stuff when the only scoreboard that you have that is somewhat doable in a classical era is this one? Or this one. And I run through all of these, and I don't see anything like that. What good is it to make a classical era like this when, yes, this is cool, this is nice, but how does that parlay to a modern style ballpark? Still can't move the bullpens, still can't move the dimensions, still don't have the options of putting opening day ribbons and championship ribbons and all that type of stuff on anything. You can't change the dugout. You don't have grass. I mean, your modern day fields like this, like your infield dirt, if you're going to add like 1900 style aesthetics, what does it hurt to add some new infield dirt designs? A line from the pitcher's mound to the batter's box. Grass types. Is there really anything else to add except for that? Grass patterns. Do you have new grass patterns that you can add on there? Straight away and all this type of stuff. Nope, you don't. So they definitely got their ideas from Oakland Coliseum. Oh, you mean like with the pitchers and stuff, like the pitchers' mounds and everything? It's like you're making ballparks. You're you're uploading stuff from an era of where you can make a lot of stuff, and yet you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So it's like eight different designs. Did they add anything else new to this? Did they add like anything classical? No, it's the same stuff. So, I'm sitting up here, and here's another thing that irks me about this. So we just had another era of a classical design. When you guys unloaded, and by you guys I mean SDS, when you guys unloaded your futuristic ballparks and stuff, you guys made sure to come in and no new signs. So I'm going to sit up here and make a ballpark from 1912, right? And I'm going to have to constantly add, what? Stand Up to Cancer, MLB The Show, MLBshop.com. Like, does it hurt to take assets that you guys put into classical ballparks, make that stuff up, and send that in? Let's go look at stands. Let's see if anything changed from stands from them unloading all this stuff in here. And so you still get the same classical field, level 1. You still get all this stuff that you've been getting since MLB The Show 21. And you get nothing else. It's like, I am a broken record at this point. But what I'm trying to convey when I say all of this is what we, when I'm talking about we, and I don't use we often, but I'm using we confidently right now to say you've uploaded 42%. Right. Do like what Acclaim was good at this. When Acclaim made All-Star Baseball, Acclaim took old school ads that were real and repurposed them and put Acclaim on there or Mick Shaver or something like that. That's where I get my ability to make like ads and stuff, because I used to play that as a kid. Okay? There are certain things I want to stress this. I'm tired of coming across like I'm being negative when I say all this. But this is what I'm talking about when I say I am theoretically, I am using a simile of sitting on a toilet waiting to get up and I only have one strand of toilet paper, only one sheet. This is one sheet of toilet paper. It's not enough to wipe good and get on with my day. When the biggest issue I have here still remains the biggest issue that I've had here since MLB The Show 21. We need this taken care of first. This stuff is nice, but aesthetics, when you have the problems that need to be addressed, not addressed, is nothing but icing on a poop cake. You can put strawberry, you can put sprinkles, you can put anything you want. It's still going to taste like crap at the end of the day. I can't move the bullpens. I can't move the foul lines. I don't even have foul poles from that said era that you want me to make this stuff in. So ultimately, this mode is, as I said before, it is half-assed. Pardon my language. Pardon my disrespect. It's half-assed. If you're going to make all these props, and this is what I have to nitpick on. This is a prime example. You have this right here, which is an awesome add-on. You have the cars. You have the newspapers. You have this. You have that. But let's show you what types of crowds you have that are going to be with this type of stuff. And I know they're in the game because anytime you play the Negro Leagues memories, moments, you have different styles of fans that are sitting in those audiences. The ones from the 40s, the ones from the 50s, the ones from the 20s and 30s. This is what you have to select from here in regards to crowds. So when you put all your props and stuff in the game with a ballpark, this is what you have. So you have a Model T from, let's say, 1907, and you have a crowd of people dressed like it's 2022. Or at best, you can get away with this up until 1990s. What does it hurt to put in crowd trio 70s, crowd trio 80s, crowd trio 50s? What I mean, like, that's what I'm talking about. It's always you take your car to the shop, you get it detailed, they do the rims, they do the passenger side, they do the back, they do everything, but somehow your windows are still dirty. You never get the full experience. That's all I'm trying to convey when I sit up here and I do these streams and I talk what I talk. This stuff is nice. You're going to get hopefully you're going to get more YouTubers who do this type of stuff talk about this. And it's going to be great. People are going to leave in droves. It's just what people are going to do. Because eventually at some point, how often do you get to sit up here and say the same stuff over and over and over and over again, and it doesn't hit? This type of content, this type of stuff should have been in this game mode back in MLB The Show 21. We should not just be getting this stuff. That's the problem. So you have all these nice props. You have all this stuff. I still don't have the option of deleting this batter's eye. I don't need a batter's eye. We do all of this. I don't have the option to move my bullpen. We do all of this, and I still can't change the generic-looking modern-day thing unless I choose to do it myself and put wood around the thing. I still can't change the backdrop. I still can't change the design and the shape. I've got no explanations about that. I've got no reasoning about that. So you've changed the whole entire car. You've recolored it. It's candy apple red, but the transmission is still busted in the thing, and I can't drive it anywhere. So I just spent $5,000 to up-touch the vehicle, make the vehicle look shiny and nice and good. But when you put the key in the ignition, can't go nowhere. That's what the problem is. That's the issue. You're putting a Band-Aid on a gash. I still have no memory increase here. I want to know why I can't get a memory increase. Why can't I get memory increase to 400 or 200? I just played an exhibition game today at Wrigley Field. They got the whole exterior of Wrigley Field done. How is it you can create the exterior of Wrigley Field? I can't create the exterior of Wrigley Field. Those questions need to be answered. And supposedly 60 props don't solve those problems. Because you did concrete slabs here, that's great. I still can't flip anything. I still can't color different sections. I got stands and stuff that's just a big block of chalk with people on it, and you haven't anything organized. That's my take from this. That's what I got from this. I think this stuff is awesome. I love the detail in the racetracks and the race courses and all this type of stuff. But this right here is a prime example of when, if anybody who listens to this have children, if you are a parent, I'm not. I was a former child, so I know what it's like to have chores. But I will honestly say, this is like when your parents tell you to clean up the house and take the chicken from the freezer, and you clean up the house and you forget to take the chicken from the freezer. Guess what? You didn't do everything that you were told to do. So, you know, it is what it is. One thing I won't be mad at them about, one thing I won't be negative about, is them adding this good boy right here. This good boy right here. Yes, you. You a good boy. I will never dog a game for putting a good boy in the game. Good on SDS for putting a dog in this game before putting a cat in this game. That's it. Now I can look at this good boy all day. I can feed him some digital treats. That's the only saving grace right now is this dog. Call him Buford. That's a good boy right there. How do you get to be polygons and still be a good boy? That's a good old boy. All right, that's enough. I'll be here all day talking to Buford. But you guys get what I'm saying. So that's what I've gotten. I love the DLC that's added, but it's we need more. That's it. We need more. And it's like all of this together accumulates to 42% of memory. So keep that in mind if you guys are still building ballparks, what that equates to and what that does. But that's pretty much it with that. That's my 2 cents. Don't know, Miles. I gotta look. I actually, I'm gonna be real honest with you. I actually forgot they were playing the game last night. They won against the Seattle Mariners. Um, they played against the Mariners last night, 1-2 zip. So hopefully, as long as we keep the Yankees, as long as we keep the Stankies second to third place, I'll be happy. You just need pitching. That's the only issue. The issue is you need pitching. I was listening to 105.7 here last night and listening to the guy from Fox talk about like, oh, so if the Orioles don't get any pitching before the trade deadline ends, so are they still okay to like reach the World Series? And this guy said with a straight face, yes. I'm like, you're kidding, right? Like, no, my friend. That's not how it works. No. Max, I saw your question. So there's supposed to be 60. I didn't count 60 props and all of that. I think maybe I'm having like an issue where I am seeing buildings and I don't see the numbers, but I don't see 60 in any of that. So that's just me. I could be wrong. Wouldn't be the first and surely won't be the last. The Rangers are looking a little scuffish this year, man. Like they got they're like what 30 something and 40 something. Well, there are a couple of games behind, under 500 there. It just gives, yeah. People understand like how hard it is. I honestly believe like it's more difficult to get back to a World Series than it is to get back to a Super Bowl. Because there's more games, but ultimately at the end of the day, it's sports. And with sports, like you got to have a lot of luck on your side. But the reason why people love baseball is because baseball has this majestic love affair with it that you don't find in other sports. Like I like hockey, I like football, I love baseball at this point. But it's one thing that people just don't grasp and don't understand about baseball is that baseball is the epitome of the most majestic, weird, just unexplainable force of life that you'll ever come across. And you sit up here and you say to yourself, well, this Rangers team, like, took every away team in the playoffs. The Rangers had to win every single away game possible to get to where they needed to get to in order to at least have a chance at the dance, a chance. to get an invite, to get a croissant, and to go to the prom. Forget getting a phone number. Like, they had to get to that point. And a little nick here or there, and the story's different. That's what's crazy about all of that. And, you know, looking at everything now and where it's going to be, you know, the Rangers are struggling. Rangers are struggling. Ain't no telling if they'll come back, if they'll get back to the playoffs or the World Series or whatever. But I will say this. I'm gonna say this. When they were there, they did what? They took advantage of the time and the opportunity they had, and the rest is history. That's what you got to do. That's one thing fans don't get. Like, you know, you gotta win, and you gotta win now, because there's no guarantee that there's next year. There's no guarantee for any of that stuff. You gotta win, and you gotta win now. And you gotta win it all if you can. Yeah, because it's hard as hell to get back. It's hard. It's hard as hell to get back. Hard. You got to be hot at the right time. You know, as much as I would love the Orioles to win the division, I truly believe that if they win the division this time, and Mike Elias doesn't mess around and screw up and walk away from that trade without anything, if we get some pitching, and I mean some real pitching, not that bum Cole Irvin. We need to get some real pitchers on this team. And you can get some real pitching on this team. This team is solid. But the main issue with the Orioles, and I'll say this, because even fans, fellow fans, don't want to listen to the truth. The biggest issue with the Orioles is that they have no pitching. And you need to get pitching. And I am as serious as the day is long when I say that. I don't want to hear none of this. Oh, but they got this. Oh, but they got that. You got nothing. You got nothing. Cole Irvin was called down to the minors for a reason last year. Okay? And Grayson Rodriguez had a great game last night. That dude was pitching a gem. To keep a 2-run lead, okay, and keep your team in the game, show some skill. But I would like to see that from him more often. I need some consistency. I need some dogs on this team. That's what I would like. I would like to have some dogs on this team. You know, some dogs. Like that coach said, you got a bunch of meows. Need some dogs. I like some dogs on this team that can pitch, man. That right there is what's going to get you to the next frontier. All this, you know, we're good with what we got. No, we're not good with what we got. Dean Kramer, like, I look at Dean Kramer, and until Dean Kramer proves himself to be something more, Dean Kramer is just a run-of-the-mill pitcher to me. I think he shows flashes of talent, but you got to start showing me some consistency. I need to start hearing your name in, you know, Cy Young categories and stuff like that. Because, hey, ladies and gents, this is what you need to win a World Series. Like, this is it. You know, if we talking about getting to the dance, then you better start asking for some dates. You can't be shy sitting up here talking all that yig-yag and you're not doing anything. So that's my 2 cents on the whole ordeal. I feel like, you know, the Yankee, you know, you never know what happens. You know, I'll talk my crap here. You know, I mean, to sit up there and to pull off what you guys pulled off Sunday against the Orioles, that was impressive. You know, but to be fair, Cole Irvin handed that. So, you know, you got some guns on that team. But you got to, everything's got to click together and get going to where it's got to go. Everything's got to click and get going. Now, hopefully y'all are sellers at the y'all are sellers at the daggone deadline. You know, give us some pitchers. That's what I'm hoping for. Oh yeah, Sega got messed up on Saturday. Did they ever say what that was? Because I was at the game. I thought he pulled a groin or something. I want some. Here's what I want, Miles. This is what I want. I want some pictures that got some dog in them. You know what I'm saying? I want a picture that wakes up and eats kibbles and bits like Wheaties. I don't care who it is. I don't care if you dig up Cy Young and bring him back from the dead. I want some pictures. What we got right now on this team, you know, everybody put their faith in what's his name, John Means. Okay, they put their faith in John Means. John Means was good for a cup of coffee. He got re-injured yet again, so we all know what's going to happen there. His career's done, and then that's it. You need some dogs, bro. Like you got to get some. You got to get some players that some pitchers that are. These are Cy Young candidates. We do have one who's like that, and is Corbin Burns, who, by the way, congratulations to his two newborns that he just got. Congratulations, he got off paternity leave. You know, but that's just the facts. But you can't tell for Orioles fans that boy they get oh what you talking about? We got the number 2 best team in the league with the pitching. No, you don't. You need improvement, bro. That's what you need. You need improvement. And no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Need some improvement. And Mike Elias better get it because Mike Elias should have been out there during the offseason getting this, and he wasn't. So. So that's that. Yeah, watch it here because the brick will get you in trouble. We'll fill that in later. But you never know. You never know. With this 6 playoff card system, you know, if the Texas Rangers get hot and go back into the playoffs, they might do it again. Me personally, I hope not. I need the Orioles to win the World Series so I can move on with my life. But, you know. I don't like the one thing which they'll never talk about here is getting the memory structure straightened out. Oh, really? They're supposed to be joining the SEC, right? The SEC. Last time I checked, which is crazy. To be honest with you, a long time ago in college football, the SEC automatically, like if you talked about the SEC, yeah, the SEC, that was that was like, yeah, that's like the NFL for college. That's where most of your NFL players came from back in the day. And it was like all the other players from other big divisions that couldn't cut it or kind of could have in college. And yeah, man, it's crazy. The one thing about college football or the NCAA that gets me, and it's always got me and never will not get me, is that the minute that college kids, call them kids, the minute that college students, these college athletes, decided it was in their best interest to make money and to capitalize off of this business, out of the blue, you had all these old heads coming out the blue saying, "Oh, all these kids don't care about the game anymore. Like, what are we going to do? Like, how are we going to teach them this and teach them that?" It's like your football coach literally shows up to practice driving a BMW with tinted windows. Meanwhile, you're sitting up here and you have to find out where your next haircut's going to come from and how much, and hope and pray to God you don't get penalized from the NCAA because somebody decided to do you a solid and get you a haircut down the street. That's what these college students deal with. That's what these college football players deal with. And now all of a sudden, when these guys like to get theirs, as they should, now all of a sudden it's a problem. Now all of a sudden it's this whole big fiasco. Oh, but it's ruining the game. It's ruining the game. That's ruining the game. You got college athletes who went to Syracuse because they wanted to play against a specific rival team, and now they're going to be flown halfway across the United States playing Southern California. Like, y'all don't care about these college students' schoolwork? Y'all don't care about the fact that, like, they got to get back in time and their sleep schedules and stuff? It's like the NFL. It's like you can, if you've seen the game long enough and you've seen the business long enough, it's kind of hard to not notice when people tell you it's not about the money, that it's actually about the money. And that's what's wild to me. It's like college has always been about money. The NCAA has always been about money. Like if you go to like Texas, for example, right? Coca-Cola strikes a deal with Texas. So that means that like all your products and stuff in that college is ran strictly within that. But they talk about traditionalism and everything and rivalries and such, and I'm perfectly cool. They're like living here, Maryland versus Duke was big as hell. But when Maryland decided to leave and go to the Big Ten, guess what? That went the way of the dodo bird. That left. But whose fault is that? And so this same system now want to sit up here and condemn college students from signing an NIL that's going to pay them $1 million. Get that money, kid. Everybody else is making money off of you. What's the problem? College in America is not about education. College in America is about business. It's actually one of the first things that you get taught when you leave high school and you go to college. It's actually one of the first things that teach you about business. And all these folks want to do is your Nick Sabans want to sit up here now and say, "Oh, I can't handle these kids. I can't talk to these kids like I used to. They're making money and all this stuff." It's like, oh my God, yeah, especially in football. Like the high school football stadiums in Texas look like your upscale junior football college stadiums. I gotta hand it to Texas though. Texas don't mess around when it comes to football. In those small quaint towns down there, when it's football Friday, the town shuts down, and people are at the games. So, hey, I give it to you guys. You guys know what to do when it comes to football. I ain't gonna hold you on that. But it's just the case. It's just, I can't sit up here after going through college in my town, in my time. I can't imagine going to college in my time and sitting up here and not understanding why these kids, I keep calling them kids, why these athletes want to make the money they want to make. And then sitting up here and looking at a coach who's making $200 million at a school, need I remind everybody, at a school, making $200 some million, and it's all copacetic and it's all good to go because guess what? It's normal for the coach to make money. It's like everybody out here wants to make some green. I mean, your colleges, like, does it make sense for Maryland to play against USC? Like, what experience does Maryland have against USC? Does it make sense for like UCLA to go out here and play Albuquerque? No. But these colleges did this because they wanted to make money. So what I truly believe, what I truly think is the following. We live in a capitalist society. I've always said this, and I will continue to say this. We live in a capitalist society. So if you see your neighbor next to you making money by selling their own homemade Cheetos, you can make your own money making your own homemade Doritos. And that's what I think should be happening here. And if colleges and the deans and the athletic directors want to mess up 180 some years, 100 some years, 90 some years worth of rival history to sell out and make some cash doing things the way they want to do it, then I think there is not a problem whatsoever with a 22-year-old who wants to sit up there and want to make money because of their God-given athletic talent. I have no problem with it. Make your money. And when you graduate, don't give none back. That's all I got to say. I have no problem with it whatsoever. None. Make your paper. Okay, so this is one part of it that we just got. Hmm. All right, we're just gonna leave that like it is. All right. All right. So now we're back. Do I even have anybody in here? Oh, 2 people watching. Okay. All right. Okay, so what I got to do here is I got to make a narrow. So let's see here. There's something amiss. Because this has to be directly right in order for this to work. Let's get rid of that. The only thing it's just to me, I am not a fan of midweek holidays, especially when you take a Thursday for yeah, just make it like this. And then you got to go back to work at some point. It's not my cup of tea, so be honest with you. All right, so we're going to do it like this. We're going to move this to a certain extent. Like I said, I'm a fan of any new stuff they add to this thing. You know, I just wish they would have poured this attention towards your contemporary city stuff, your other stuff that they could have added it towards. But instead, they spent time doing like this aliens type of stuff that nobody asked for. And, you know, it's just, me personally, it's just not my thing. It's like you have to start appealing to your audience. You got to start appealing to what your audience is into and what they're about. And when you don't do that, you tend to lose out. Like, it's not, I didn't write the rules to marketing. I'm just following like supply and demand. And like, okay. All right, so we got the shape of this first one out the way. We fill it in later. And what we're going to do is we're going to do the triangle one. And I need to see. I've been going to this ballpark since I was 14 years old. And for the life of me, I cannot figure out, okay, if this is a bathroom or not. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to extend this past there. It seems to be lower, so we're just going to do it like this. And then we'll bring it right there. Because it doesn't touch it. It just goes. All right, and then we're gonna do this. Brick is like I'll be honest with you guys, like brick is like my most favorite thing. I love like of all time with stadium building. I love brick. I love the aesthetic of brick. I love what brick looks like when you build it in a ballpark. There's something to be said about good brick. Good brick. You know what I mean? Like, but the problem is that it costs too much memory. Like, that's the only issue I have with it. Like, it costs just too much memory. So, all right, this is what we're looking at right here. I'm going to save this. To my Shea Stadium fans, I have not forgotten about you. I have that whole thing ready to go. Well, I just got to add some details to it. Bring up Camden Yards map. Bring up 3D model of Camden Yards. Wow, this looks really weird. I'm not going to hold you. That's weird. You know, the funny thing is that for the longest time, when I could have cared less to work on this, because I was a firm believer that, like, Camden Yards was already in the game. I wasn't going to touch it. Not going to touch it with a 20-foot pole. But, like, the minute I started working on it, like, everything that I used to look at that would give me a sense of, um, like a sense of, like, detail and, like, what I could be looking at and paying attention to, like, automatically just fell off the face of the earth. Like, it is insanity how that works. Bring up Camden Yards behind the scoreboard. Where are the bathrooms behind Camden Yards? when I say this phone is trash, this phone is garbage. All right. All right, so we got this. Let's get rid of all of this. Let's get rid of all of this. We need to bring in that concrete slab. Bring up Camden Yards model. Okay, here we go. Okay, so this is where the bathroom's at. Ow, damn. All right, show me the model of this thing. Actually, wait a minute. Yeah, stadium page. Give me it. All right, here we go. Okay, so it's not a perfect triangle. All right. So wait, does this go all the way? Okay, so we have this right here. So it's gonna be straight up behind that. But for some reason, this triangle. Okay, hold on. Hold on. Hold on. This goes. All right. Isn't that crazy? Everything comes back to shapes. That's the optical illusion in life, man. Everything comes back to shapes. If you ever stuck, go back to what you learned in preschool or kindergarten. It all comes back to shapes. But really, does it though? Because ultimately, stamp this. Some ain't add up. I'm about to, yeah, yeah. This is, yeah, yeah. Was that it? Yeah, this makes sense. Yeah, that's the only way you're gonna get that. But how do you get that though? Because okay, so just gotta make it short right here. It's a small triangle, and there's supposed to be a bathroom attached to it. So, all right. Okay. Okay. Wait, see what? I don't know what you mean by that. Do you mean like Diamond Dynasty? Is that what you mean? Diamond Dynasty? I haven't done a single Diamond Dynasty thing this year, my bro. All I've been doing is building ballparks. I'll be really honest with you. I don't have any interest in doing them either. I do logos. I made every Orioles logo. If you guys want to use that in Diamond Dynasty, go right ahead. And I think that's about it. In fact, I'll be real with you. I don't think most people are messing with Diamond Dynasty. From what I was told yesterday, most of the people messing with Diamond Dynasty are on MLB The Show 21. So it's a little weird, to be honest with you, but whatever. Rise this one up a little bit. Bring it back. Rise it up. There we go.